Hello, this is Cheri. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw a young woman. So start with a loose circle, and then to the bottom of that circle, you're going to draw the woman's chin, which looks like a very soft triangle attached. And I'm going to soften that chin a little bit. Looked a little pointy there. So once I've done that, or I should say once you have done that, it's time to draw your intersecting lines to help you adequately proportion all of the facial features. You're going to have 4 lines for the eyebrows, eyes, nose, and mouth. And they should be more or less equal in space from each other. So starting from the top going down, marking out where my eyebrows go, and just making a little mark where the nose goes. It's kind of a semicircle. Next, I'm going back up to draw the eyes, and because it's a woman, I'm going to really, instead of making them look like wedges, I'm kind of opening them up and rounding them a bit to make them look more feminine. And then I'm going to draw in the mouth and a little semicircle for the lower lip. Ears, top of the ear aligns with the eyebrow, bottom of the ear aligns with the nose. And then I'm just going to put in that neck just to have it ready to go. Put in a little proper anatomical detail there on the neck and the collarbone. And now I'm going to start defining the outline of the face. As you can see, I defined a little bit of the brow bone, how it starts at the eyebrow and then it kind of goes in and then it comes back out a little bit to where the cheekbone goes. So I've basically got all of my facial features aligned properly, so all of those lines are no longer necessary. You can erase them, get rid of them entirely unless you think they're aesthetically pleasing, then by all means keep them. Mine are still there just because I use a really heavy pencil and I just drew too dark, but it's okay because it's not going to be a big deal once I'm done. Going in now for the details, drawing in the nose and the eyes. Really simple shapes and lines. And I'm working back and forth between the different features so I don't get stuck in any one part of the drawing. And I'm going to go ahead and draw in the upper lip of the woman. That way, really quickly, we know that this is a woman. She looks very feminine. She's got a very long face. If you ever study people's faces, you'll see that there are all types of faces out there. There's long and short and wide and round and all that. These lines up here, I'm drawing across the forehead, are her bangs. And the hair should always be drawn as a single form. Later you can put in the details to show that it really is hair, but to start with you just block it out as a single form. And I'm going back to the face, just defining it a little more, giving this character a little more definition. You know, I don't want her to be too vague looking. And that's pretty much you know, that's a good place to stop if you want to do more basic cartoony style, but I like to push for realism, so I'm going to start by putting in the dark pupils for the eyes and shadows around the iris, and really pushing those values to make this drawing pop. And I'm just going to dive right into the shading. I don't always have a particular pattern once I get all of my features drawn in. From there I just kind of like to bounce around, and it's almost like I'm feeling the face just by drawing. I'm getting a feel for it, and it's like sculpture to me. I draw very sculpturally. I add and I take back off and on the whole face. So what you see is just how I draw. This is to give you a good jump start if you're wanting to learn. You don't have to draw just like me, but if you want to try, that's fine. You know, that'll give you something to work with. And I want to really push this young lady's feminine side, so I'm putting in her eyelashes, giving her a touch-up, if you would, a makeup touch-up. She's obviously wearing makeup. And I'm going to start defining the lips here. The lips will really pop with some detail on shadows like you see here. The creases of the lips and the line of the lips should be really dark, on par with the pupils and the eyelashes of the eye. And here's a bit more shadow, as you saw on the chin, starting to give some depth to the neck. Obviously the head is casting a shadow onto the neck. And I've already decided that I want this girl's hair to be really dark, either black or very dark brown. So I'm going to start filling in those shadows with the blackest black I can put in there. So now I know, okay, she's got really dark hair. So now I need to work with the mid-tones and highlights in her hair. And I'm just going to go back up to the bangs, start showing where the highlights are. And of course, the darkest darks will also be in the shadows behind the ears. I definitely know that those will be really dark. So that's why I'm just putting them in there, because I know I've already made that decision. That's where I want it to be. And from there, lightening up a bit. It's important when you're coloring long hair, or you're sketching long hair even, you use strokes as if your strokes will represent the hair. And really that's true of any texture you're trying to recreate in drawing. Excuse me. The way your pencil strokes look will define the texture of your illustration. And you can make it a stylistic thing, like some people say. You can see, for myself, my shadows on the skin are really rough looking, but it works as a style. But you can really see the texture of the hair too by incorporating that same style in the hair. And the roots are supposed to be really dark. Always make your roots really dark to start with, and then you can add highlights as you get further away from the roots, and that'll help add dimension to whatever hair you're trying to draw. So you can see this girl has some shine in her hair, and that's all because I've pushed these values There's a cute little quote that I actually came up with that I like, and it's, even art has values. It's kind of corny, I know, but I like it. When it comes to morality and ethics, I just like to think, well, even art has values, and it's true. You have to push the values in art to make it a good piece of artwork. Totally different context, though, I know. I still think it's clever. So I'm going back to the face, and I'm pushing the values in the face. As you can see, I put a little bit more shadow in the creases of the mouth. Starting to give her face some creases, her smile wrinkles there, smile lines. A little bit of shadow on her cheek. And here, defining her chin too. I think I'm subconsciously drawing a part of myself because I have a boxy chin. I must have done too many self-portraits. And there I'm pushing the line on where the lips meet. So now we know, okay, there's her mouth. And draws attention to one of her primary features. I'm going to give her a shirt, a neckline. I'm going in and putting some shadows in the ears there. They look a little Vulcan. They look like elf ears. Oh well, that's okay. So, kneaded erasers are awesome for pulling off or even smudging pencil lines and shading. It helps to soften. So it's great for when you want to use it for subtle textures like skin. You can really soften it up because you can. It's very malleable, and you can just touch it, or you can push it. You've got a lot of variety of uses for it. And I'm going to define that nose a little more. It looked kind of messy earlier. Wasn't totally defined like I wanted it. Putting in some shadow for the lower creases of the eye. This makes her much more believable as a three-dimensional drawing. And going back, just touching up the hair a little. And as you can see, this bouncing back and forth between all these different things really helps keep the image concise. Everything is together. It doesn't feel like one part doesn't belong. It all belongs. It's at harmony with itself. So I'm pretty happy. I'm just going to put in her shoulders a little bit. I think that gives her a little more realism there and a little bit of shadowing there. I hope you enjoyed this session of learning how to draw a face, learning how to draw a young woman's face. Please like this tutorial, this video, and share with your friends. I hope you guys have a great day.